So before I begin, yes, this is the final episode of the series, and so I just wanted to explain why I'm actually ending the show. So for the last 4 years, I have been dedicated to this show, making sure it happens every week. Ever since I thought of making a weekly review show, I always wanted to make it happen every week. And it came to the point where I've been doing it for so long that eventually I knew it was going to end. And so now that I've marketed my channel as a FNAF channel, I kind of felt like it was time to move on. And that is why I'm finally ending it after 200 episodes. And I know when I started this show, I just loved doing it every week. It was just so much fun to do. I loved reviewing movies, watching them, taking notes as I get ready for my review, and talking about them, and just going through movies that are not just old, but also new. So I finally made the decision that 200 will be the last episode I ever did in the show, so that it would allow me to transition to doing what I do now, which is FNAF content. So that's basically the idea about why I'm ending the show. I mean, it's been a nice run, but I knew that it was coming, and I wanted to go with a bang, so I feel like 200 was a pretty good number to end on. And after this, I feel like now that I'm ending it, it'll be satisfying. I mean, yeah, it's sad, but at the same time, it didn't get a lot of attention on this series, and so I just feel like it makes sense to end it. I just feel like it's time, and plus, it takes a long time to do. I have to watch the movie a couple of times, and then I have to watch it with taking notes for the movie, and then I have to record myself, and then I have to edit that, and then I have to record the intro. It's a lot of work for me, and I just feel like I don't want to keep doing that anymore. I want to have things that are easier, and review just takes a long time to do. And I appreciate those of you who actually watched it, if any of you did. Looking back at older episodes, I hardly got any people watching it, and that's fine. It was just something I wanted to do on my own. It really motivated me to make a show that no one watched, but at the same time, I had a really good time with it. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can say. Just, I feel like after this, I'll be satisfied. I'll be happy that it's finally over, and I don't have to worry about making this show, because it doesn't really flow well with the rest of what the channel is. But at the same time, I have enjoyed making it. It's been a blast to make. I've really enjoyed watching these movies, reviewing them, having my thoughts about them, all that stuff. So please enjoy the final episode of Reviewed. Hello everyone, my name is The Ultimate Spy, and welcome to the final episode of Reviewed. That's right, this is Reviewed number 200. And today, I'm going to be reviewing the movie The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. So, what did I think of The Nutcracker and the Four Realms? Oh my god. I loved it. I mean, specifically when I saw it in theaters, I loved it. It was so amazing. I mean, if you want to know my first ever experience watching the movie in theaters, it was awful. I had to deal with this annoying couple making out. If you want to check that video out, then I will link it at the end of this video so you can check it out. Honestly, it was amazing. I loved everything about it. I mean, the intro was one that really blew my mind, and I just love it. I love what they're doing with it. I mean, I don't think it's like a something they're going to continue doing. I mean, they might, but I don't think they are. I think they're always gonna have a version of that they use, and then for their special occasions for new movies that come out that are brand new. Like, oh my god, that intro. Oh my god, I loved it so much. Basically, it uses some different instruments to do the same exact song. Now, for those of you who are well aware of Disney's history, and actually this is how Walt did Pinocchio, he introduced the song Will You Wish Upon a Star, which is basically the Disney intro, and it works so well. Like, it's the trademark intro for the longest time. From every intro, it doesn't matter, how the intro looks itself, the music behind it has always been the same. Some of it's been different, like, for like Pixar movies, but mostly it's been the same, and oh my god, I loved it so much. It's just so magical and so different. It's the exact same thing, but it's so different. Like, basically, this movie introduced this newer rendition. Basically, the same exact song, they just use different instruments, which is fantastic. So, I freaking loved it. I thought it was so good. Beautiful, magical, just incredible, and I just like, oh my god, that's the same song, but they've completely changed it. They use completely different instruments, and that was what really made me go, oh my god, that's amazing. So that's something that I really, really liked a lot, was the theme song being a little bit different, using some different instruments to make the same exact song, but it's just like, oh my god, I loved it. And on top of that, the music. Oh, the music is so incredible. Just like the intro, the music. Oh, I love the music a lot. It was absolutely incredible. Beautiful, magical, just everything about it. Whimsical obviously is another word I could use for that. But like, oh my god, I don't know. It's just something about like that first scene we see with the camera going over Victorian London, with that music. Oh, I just loved it. It's just like it really was what brings that Disney magic, as people say, because that's the kind of the filmmaking technique that people like to use, and also in general what the Disney company is known for is making magic. If it's their films, if it's their theme parks, whatever, it's still like incredible. So yeah, definitely that, and also the cinematography on top of that was also amazing. Just like how the way the camera moved, and just seeing, well, obviously it was mostly CGI Victorian London, but still, like, oh my god. It's just unbelievable. I mean, don't get me wrong, this movie did get a lot of hate, but for someone who doesn't care about that, who doesn't listen to reviews, I just loved it, Just, it surprised me. Like, it legitimately surprised me. I'm like, what the hell? What is this movie? It's so different. It's so Disney, It's like Disney is known for these kind of films, and they do a really good job of it. I mean, yeah, sure, it isn't exactly the same story as what the original play was, but definitely there's a lot of inspiration for it. It's an original story, but it's obviously like inspired by the Nutcracker. So like, yeah, the music's all there, especially throughout the film. We get a nod to those classic pieces. A lot of the original Nutcracker play music is used in this film. I mean, obviously they have to put it there, but like, still, yes. And one thing I noticed about this film, despite it being a Christmas movie, because it's like set during Christmas, and it has that theme going on for it, it actually was released in November. Like every freaking Christmas movie out there. I don't know why. I don't know what's the thing. Like every freaking Christmas movie out there in America is released in November. I know that in the UK for like Doctor Who, that's completely different. They always have a Christmas special that is airing on Christmas Day, but in America they don't do that. We always get movies in November setting up for Christmas. It's like, I never understood that. Like, why release a movie in November if it's meant to be a Christmas movie? I never understood that. Like, it's always like, early November they release it. It doesn't make any sense. But I guess it's like they're hyping up the holidays. I'm guessing like they're getting you ready for it. Like, oh yeah, Christmas is next month. Get ready. Okay, so first I gotta say this one thing. Mackenzie Foy, the actress who plays Clara in this film, first of all, she is gorgeous. She is absolutely beautiful. I mean, like her eyes, just in her face. She's got a very pretty face, and also it's interesting because, like, she captures who Clara is from the original. This beautiful girl, and then also like she's meant to be British, obviously because she lives in London, and despite Mackenzie Foy being American, she's an American actress. She was born in L.A. She's 100% American. She plays Clara with a British accent. And a lot of actors do that, where they get dialect coaches and then they learn British accents. But she does a flawless accent. Like, she sounds. If you were to never have seen her in an interview, if you never heard what she sounds like, and you watched the movie before you actually heard them in real life, you wouldn't be able to realize they were actually American. I know that kind of same thing happens with Johnny Depp for the Pirates films. I never knew he was actually American. It's crazy. But with this film, she is British. I know also, Nutcracker, I'm pretty sure is set in the UK or something like that. I don't know. I haven't actually seen the Nutcracker itself in a long time. And I was technically in it during a high school production. Back in my elementary school, was collaborating with the high school. I was cast as a Russian baker. That was fun. I don't remember much of it. I just know I was a silent role. But like, there's been many renditions of the Nutcracker. But yeah, I loved her accent. She just did a great job. She just nailed it. I mean, she just, she's so beautiful, and she's just so talented, and she just, I don't know. I mean, I never watched the original play. I don't know how to compare that role, but like, she just did a really good job. I think she's like meant to be that curious girl who's like, always taking after her mother kind of thing, being an inventor, all that kind of stuff, and being very curious about her life. But at the same time, she did a really good job, and yeah. Like, especially when she's wearing her purple dress and her hair ribbon. Oh my god, it's just like stunning. I mean, this whole movie is done right. The most beautiful film I've ever seen in my life. I mean, There's other films out there that are even more beautiful in terms of, like, visual effects, cinematography, production design, all that stuff. But this film just, it's outstanding in terms of its beauty. It's just, oh my god, it's just like, it's incredible to look at. I loved it. And in the very first scene we ever see in this movie, we actually see a really cool invention that Clara and Fritz actually make. Fritz is her younger brother, and they make this sort of Rube Goldberg style mousetrap thing. It's really cool. It basically, let's face it, it's basically a Rube Goldberg thing. It's like, this thing makes this thing happen, this thing then it causes this to do this thing. It's like a chain reaction, and it all ends up being, I think, for them to trap a mouse, which is incredible. But yeah, I love that. It's just a really cool concept, and it proves that with a little help from her brother, Clara is just as good as her mother, and that's the idea, that she's just like her mother, where she's an incredible inventor, and that was, that's always been who she is, apparently. So that was what the story wanted to tell anyway. So I love that. The whole Rube Goldberg thing was actually amazing. And Clara's sister Louise, played by Ellie Bamber, oh my god, much like Mackenzie Foy, she is absolutely gorgeous, and I love her hair, her curly hair. She's just like, I don't know, she just really stands out. She's just about as beautiful as Mackenzie Foy's Clara. Like, she just, wow. I mean, also, I don't know if you guys knew this. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is true. Every actor in this film, besides Morgan Freeman and Mackenzie Foy, are British. So that means that Mackenzie Foy was doing a brilliant accent, and every other actor she was acting with was all British. Like, they're from the UK. So yeah. And one thing I noticed about Morgan Freeman's character, who plays Clara's godfather, I mean, he's obviously American. The actor himself is actually American. I've never actually seen him talk with an accent for, like, a character. Just never been a thing. My theory is that he is not from London. Like, he is from America. That's just a theory. I don't know if it's actually true, but it might actually be true. Who knows? I mean, it'd be great if it was. That would be really interesting. Their godfather is from another country, from America. That would make sense. I don't know how else to explain it, but yeah, he was great in this film. Kind of a huge surprise to see Morgan Freeman in this movie, because he's great in everything, let's be honest here. And since this is a retelling of the Nutcracker, there are a lot of character elements in this film, like the Mouse King, who is actually formed by a bunch of mouselings, as they call them. There's also Sugar Plum, who is basically the Sugar Plum Fairy. But yeah, there's a lot of different elements. But, there's also a scene where we see the ballet. That's also from the Nutcracker, or at least it's like the ballet portion of it is because the Nutcracker is a ballet. I mean, it's also a play if you think about it too. But like, ballets are also plays, sort of. And yeah, there's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of character elements that are from the ballet. They're also in this film too, which is fantastic. The Mouse King is, well, in the original ballet meant to be the villain, but like still really cool to have that in there. And Mother Ginger is set up to act like the villain of the story, but no. It turns out that actually Sugar Plum is secretly the main antagonist of this film. She's just acting that. She's just acting sweet. Because the idea is that we are made to believe that Mother Ginger is actually the villain of the story, because everyone talks about how horrible she is. But it's a plot twist. Sugar Plum is actually the main villain. She wants to take over the realms, essentially. That's her main goal. And that's kind of like, we don't really think about it until after we see the twist. The Mother Ginger is a very, very nice person, and she's not ever mentioned to harm anyone. I think the idea is that she looks evil, but no, she's not. And they keep joking about how they shouldn't be mentioning the Land of Amusements because, it's evil. Nope, not at all. It's actually the good side of things. The Land of Sweets is meant to be the evil, well, sort of, because of how evil Sugar Plum is, but then, of course, you have the Land of Amusements, and then that's the good people. So it's kind of like a twist in that kind of thing. It's a very interesting plot twist that not everyone saw coming. I mean, you can't really see it from a mile away, but it's like, it's hard to tell sometimes. And I gotta say, the Palace of the Four Realms, oh my god, I mean, I thought it was a castle. It's a palace, let's be honest here. It's just about as beautiful as, like, I don't know, Cinderella Castle from Magic Kingdom. Like, that's the best I can come up with, really, because, like, it's just, like, the cinematography of the palace is amazing. The design, everything about it, just, how it's decorated, just, like, oh my god, it's just stunning, The movie is overall a very stunning film, but the palace, wow. I love the palace. It's very decorative and very, very elegant. So I definitely feel like that was a plus for it. It stands out very well, just like Cinderella Castle from Magic Kingdom, very much so. And there was actually some great comic relief in this film. There were two guards, and they were just absolutely hilarious. There's a big one, and then there's a tall one. Like, oh my god, they're hilarious. They just make the movie so much fun. They're not a whole lot of scenes, but they're still pretty goofy. They start out goofy and they end goofy. They're just like the best. They are pure comic relief. Kind of like those guards in the Pirates of the Caribbean films that appear in, I believe, the first two films. I think maybe in the third film as well. But yeah. Oh, they're just perfect comic relief. They're just so funny. When we first meet them, I could not stop laughing. They were just so funny. Oh my god, I love them. They're just amazing. So I really enjoyed them in this one. They were fantastic. And despite Sugar Plum secretly being the villain of this film, Keira Knightley, oh my god, she did an incredible job of bringing her to life. She just nailed the part. She was fantastic. I mean, let's face it, Keira Knightley is amazing in anything. Like, she's really good. She's an incredible actress, and she just did a really good job with playing Sugar Plum. She just, like, you know, coming off as very sweet, and secretly, yeah, she's evil. So who knew? But like, I love her. You know, her outfit, her dress, her, very poofy and kind of moves and everything like a hoop skirt, and using classic fashion kind of thing with the 20th century fashion, how that works. And I just I loved it. It was so fantastic. And because this is a retelling / reimagining of the original Nutcracker play, even though it really isn't, she does have wings. She is based off of the Sugar Plum Fairy from the original ballet, and she does have wings. So there you go. It works perfectly. But also, one thing that I found really funny about her character was she just talks so high pitched. Like, she just, I don't know. It's so weird. Like, the way Keira Knightley plays her, she just talks so high pitched. Like, I don't know. It's kind of like Alvin and the Chipmunks. Maybe not that high, but she talks very, high. Her voice just blasts up an octave. It's like crazy. Like, what the hell? But yeah, no. Honestly, she did a really good job. She is fantastic, and she does a really good job playing a villain in this film. It's just fantastic. Obviously, in a very plot-twisty way, but still, she nailed it. And like I mentioned earlier, this film does pay homage to the original ballet. There's a scene where Clara is introduced to the story of how her mother came to the Four Realms via a ballet that kind of, very much inspired what the original ballet is. I mean, in general, as a ballet, because the Nutcracker is a ballet, I mean, you can call it a play if you want to, but, still, I love that sequence. It was absolutely amazing. I mean, yeah, sure, it wasn't what the original ballet was, but, the fact that they put that in there is just, wow. I mean, having not seen Nutcracker, I know the basic idea of the story, sort of, been a while, but, I love that. It's just so cool. I really, really enjoyed that. Just absolutely fantastic. A really, really great way to make sure that they have that in there. It's an original ballet. Let's put a ballet in there. For all time's sake. It's just fantastic. And one thing I noticed about the ballet scene is, weirdly enough, the same shot of Clara looking up and smiling is used. I had to double check, but it was the exact same shot. It's when Sugar Plum is introducing her to the land of flowers and snowflakes. Both times, they use the exact same shot of Clara looking up, going, smiling, like that. What the hell? It's so weird. Why would they do that? I don't get it. What were they thinking? Do people not notice? I noticed that. They used the same shot. I could, it was the exact same shot. Did they just, get lazy? I didn't understand. Okay, well, that was a thing. It's weird. Why did they do that? I don't know. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just huh. Weird, It's just, it's so strange how they would do that. I did not understand that. I'm okay. That just happened. And during that same scene, it was kind of odd how Clara and Sugar Plum were, transported to the other lands. I'm what? She's still in her seat, but she somehow gets, transported to the other lands so we can see what the other lands look like. I mean, first off, I would love to see more of the other lands. I mean, we got to see plenty of the Land of Amusements, but, still, I didn't get that. She was still in her seat, but she was, seeing the other lands. I was so confused. I'm what? What's even happening? Is she in some kind of dream sequence? I did not get it. I was so confused. I'm okay. That happened. I didn't get it. I'm okay, well, they didn't really explain that, but, she was still in her seat, but she was in another land. That scene didn't make sense. I really didn't get it. I did not understand that. And again, in that same scene, it's so weird, because Sugar literally takes a little bit of her hair and eats it. I mean, I think the idea is that her hair is actually cotton candy, but it's just like, what? That it's obviously meant for humor, but I just like, okay, that's weird. Like, you just eat your hair. It's like you don't have a snack, you just eat your hair. I mean, I get it. It was meant for amusement. It's like it's just a very. I'm like, okay, well, that happened. She just eats her hair because it's cotton candy because she's a resident from the land of sweets. So I get it, but like, I didn't understand it. I was so confused. I'm like, okay, but that was so strange. Anyway, it was just a very strange scene. I was just left completely confused. Now, in the scene where Clara is actually going after the gold key because she needs it for her present and also so she can, get the machine to work again, she changes her outfit from her dress to her soldier uniform. I did not get that. I mean, like, I get it, like, she was originally in a purple dress and then she changed into a new dress. That makes sense. But then it's like she has a soldier uniform. Like, I didn't get that. Like, maybe it's because she's meant to be like a leader, even though Sugar Plum's the leader, sort of, but like, she's the princess, so like, I guess it makes sense that she's kind of taking out a leader position and she's going after the key, but like, it didn't make any sense. I'm like, okay, suddenly you're in this outfit. I don't get that. I did not understand that. Like, okay, that was a thing. That just happened. No explanation. Just suddenly she has a soldier uniform on. I did not get that. This film clearly has a couple of issues, but like at the same time, that's all I can say really. Just I didn't get it. But that's just what I think anyway. And Mother Ginger is a badass. She is awesome. I mean, not only does she use a whip as a weapon, but like she is just awesome. Like she's just like, I mean, she's obviously like at the start of the movie she's presented as an antagonist. She's not like a person. There's nothing motherly about her, but it's all good because she's actually a very good person and she's freaking cool with a whip. She has a freaking whip. I mean, come on. It's awesome, I mean, yeah, sure, she struggles a bit with warding off the tin soldiers, but still, like, a freaking whip. That's Indiana Jones shit right there. So yeah, she was just a really, really good person. I feel like it's interesting because a lot of films they have a plot twist where like the villain of the story is actually the hero. They're actually on the hero's side. It turns out that the person on the hero's side is actually the villain. So it's kind of like there's not a lot of films that do that, but there are some like this film that did that. So it was I liked how we got to see it in a different side of Mother Ginger. She was originally coming off as very villainous, but then no, yeah, she's very good person. And at the end of this film, Clara becomes, I guess, a queen, sort of. I don't really know. I guess she's like the leader of the realms, I think. But she now wears a white dress. It's like all sparkly and everything, and she's got like a tiara, and she's got like curly hair. I freaking love that. But like when she goes home, she's now in a purple dress. I'm guessing that she just put it away. But like, how does she have time to go from curly hair to straight hair? Get her hair ribbon back on. I didn't understand that. It's like, okay, I guess she could change that fast. I don't know. I was very confused. I'm like, okay, well, that was a fast change. A lot of things that happened in this one I didn't quite understand, but I definitely felt like the end of the film was very special because at the start of the film, she and her father have a difficult relationship. It's like, she's somewhat negative toward him, disagreeing with him on things, and then it hits her that it was wrong to say those things about him. So basically, she comes back after, having this adventure, and then she's able to repair her relationship with her father by giving him the dance he requested. And I feel like that was really sweet. Like, that was really special. I really liked that. That was like, because I feel like that's very human. In real life, people have, they fight with their parents, and they get mad at each other, and that happens. Happens to me, too. And I love the fact that she was able to fix that relationship that was kind of, hanging on a thread, and she needed to recompromise her relationship with her father again because he felt hurt, and she knew it was wrong of her to say those things because that was just how she felt. And they got their dance, and that was just wonderful. So that's pretty much all I can say, really. I just that ending scene was very nice because it proves that she really was sorry, and so was he. They had a lot of negative feelings about each other, and that was very sad, but at the same time, she was able to fix it. So I love that a lot. So that's pretty much all that I have to say about this movie. I absolutely adored it. It's so unfortunate that it got terrible reviews. I believe when it first came out, it got 33%, which from a critic standpoint means it's terrible. It got a lot of negative responses to it, and it was a box office bomb. it only made a little bit more to actually make the film. So it's really unfortunate because this film was so good. I mean, yeah, sure, the first couple times I saw it, it did feel like, the story just didn't get to the point fast enough, but, after seeing it again, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I actually did enjoy it a lot. I mean, I only seen it like a year or two ago, so, but like, I still really liked it. I definitely think I could compare it a little bit to A Christmas Carol, just a little bit, in terms of just like the similarities. Because I feel like A Christmas Carol and The Nutcracker have similarities, but they're very different stories. I mean, they're both set at Christmas time, a lot of similarities, but at the same time, I had a really good time with watching this movie. It was fantastic, and I figured this is a great movie to end on because it's fantastic. I don't have anything negative to say about it, but yeah, sure, there were some things I was confused about. I didn't quite understand why they did that, but a lot of people hated it. It got a lot of hate. I mean, when you look at the reviews, it had tons of negativity toward it. People just hated it. People hated it. I don't know why. Like, I don't know the reason. Like, I get it. Maybe it's just because it wasn't even close to the Nutcracker story. I mean, it is very telling. It is it is taking inspiration. A lot of elements are still there. I guess people were very distraught about that. Like, that's not what the Nutcracker is. You can't just take the original story and then you completely change it. I get that. But everything about this movie was great. The visuals, the cinematography, the acting. Oh my god, the acting. Oh, the acting was so good. The music, the set design, the comedy. It's all there. I freaking loved it. So I really have nothing else I can say about it that I hated it. I didn't have anything against it. But again, like I said before, there are, some issues here and there that I was more confused about than anything else. Not really like hating on it, just like didn't quite understand why they would do that, or I was literally just confused. But other than that, I freaking adored it. And it was just an absolutely beautiful film. They did a really good job with it, and I thought the casting was pretty good too. They did a really, really good job getting some really fun actors and just some incredible talent with this film. And what do you expect? But that's pretty much all I can say. I'm going to give this film... Okay, I'll admit it. Since I've already touched on some things I didn't understand, that does decrease the final value of the scoring. So I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10. That's close enough. I wish I could give it a 10, but I pointed out some issues that I had with it. So, just some things I didn't get. So because of that, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. But it's so close. If it didn't have those confusing bits, I would have totally given it a 10 out of 10. But that's my final score, and that's all I'm going to say about this movie. It's just really wonderful, really fun, overall entertaining. I do agree a little bit on the pacing, could have been a bit better, but at the same time, it was still really, really good. And that is going to do it for review. This is the final episode. I'm very, very happy that I finally got to end the show on a high note. I knew it was coming. I wanted to do it. I'm not doing 201 because it doesn't work anymore for that to happen with my channel not being a FNAF channel. I loved numbering it because that's how I keep track of the show. I just love numbers. I just do what I really want to do. So that's all I can say about this. And that's going to be the end for this series. So, thank you guys so much for watching this series on Reviewed. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button. I really do appreciate it. And if you are new to this channel, subscribe for the next FNAF video. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my second channel where I do reaction videos. The link will be in the description. Also, make sure you click that bell so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And I'll be back next time with another video. Alright? See ya.